Good morning and welcome to the technical just analysis section. Edmund here. So let us have a look and see what happened or how the markets ended on last Friday. And let us also have a look and see what the markets are up to for the last couple of hours. So we will start off with the US dollar index. For those who are new, the US dollar index shows us whether the US dollar was weakening, going down, or whether the US dollar was strengthening or going up. Okay, so basically, the US dollar index measures the strength of the US dollar against a basket of major currencies, including the UK pound and also the euro dollar. So, what this means is that if the US dollar index or if the US dollar index shows us that the US dollar is weakening, then we should also see the UK pound, which is traded against the US dollar, to be strengthening over the same period of time. Okay, so let us have a look again back on the US dollar index. So the US dollar index, as we have analyzed on a daily basis and over the course of a couple of weeks, the US dollar index was actually trading in a range in the 4-hour charts, and most recently it found the bottom of the charts and also managed to have some retracement up. Okay, so yeah, so during last Friday's movements, the US dollar actually moved down to support levels and then after rebounded back up. And on the way up, it actually found some resistance both on a dynamic bearish trend line and also on the horizontal resistance. Okay, so on last Friday, the US dollar started to move down from 10,000 hours. If you're in Malaysia or Singapore, you need to add 5 hours to this server time. So 10 plus 5 would be 15, which is 3 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time. Okay, so at 3 p.m., the US dollar starts to weaken from about from the high here, 96.94, all the way to the US trading session at 96.39. Okay, so the timing, of course, will be at 3 p.m. onwards. And when we look at the UK pound, we should also see the UK pound starting to strengthen at about 3 p.m. Okay, so putting the mouse here, cursor here, so we do see that the UK pound was moving down during the Asian trading session, and this candle here, let me just move it bigger a bit. Okay, so this candle here, which again is the 1000 hours server time, so we need to add 5 hours again, so 10 plus 5 will be 15. This is at 3 p.m. The UK pound moves up from a low of on the right hand side 1.2566 all the way to a high of 1.2663. Okay, so the UK pound strengthened for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 or 9 hours or so, and it strengthened or moved up about 96 pips. Okay, so yeah, so that is how we understood the sentiment of the US dollar to understand the general direction of the counter or major currencies. Okay, so that was the movements of the US dollar as of last Friday, and as of this morning, the US dollar is still on a slightly bearish note, weakening for the last 3 hours. And again, as the US dollar was weakening for the last 3 hours or so, we also do see that the UK pound has been strengthening for 1 2 3 4 5 hours also, and moving up about 33 pips. Okay, so again, it is testing this resistance, and we'll need to wait until the afternoon session to see whether it's going to go up or come down. Okay, for the euro dollar, it's pretty much a similar story to the movement of the UK pound. As the US dollar was weakening again on last Friday, we do see the euro dollar starting to strengthen almost at the same time. Okay, again, 1000 hours, 10 plus 5. 10 plus 5 is 15, which is 3 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time. The euro dollar strengthens from 1.1253 all the way to a high of 1.1323. Okay, So the euro dollar was moving up about 70 pips against the US dollar, and more importantly was to understand where the currencies came from, where it was at that point of time, and as the volume and momentum started to move, where was it going to go? Okay, so euro dollar again is a bit bullish against the US dollar, as the US dollar has been weak for the last 3 hours. So the euro dollar is going up about 25 pips at the moment. Okay, so that is the movements of the US dollar index, the UK pound, and also the euro dollar over last Friday and also this morning. So we do see again the Canadian dollar, as we saw just now. Last Friday, the Canadian dollar had an announcement at 8:30 p.m., which was the employment change data coming in above market expectations, coming in at 952,000 jobs created versus market expectations of 700,000 jobs. Okay. However, the unemployment rate increased a little bit to 12.3%. Versus market expectations of 12%. So looking at the employment change data alone, again the data is positive, and we should be seeing the Canadian dollar strengthen. However, as you can see, at 8:30 p.m. when this announcement was made, the Canadian dollar actually weakened. Okay, so this is the bar 1530 plus 5 2030, which is 8:30 p.m. on last Friday, as the positive announcement was made. The Canadian dollar the Canadian dollar strengthened. Okay, and then after the Canadian dollar weakened back. Okay, so weakened back and touched this resistance before continuing to consolidate. Okay, so this is for those who are trading the Canadian dollar. Personally, I will focus more on the UK pound and also the euro dollar, and also on gold prices. Okay, so it is good to have the US dollar index as a reference of the weakness or strength of the US dollar, as it will generally tell us a good idea about how the other major currencies such as the UK pound, the euro dollar, or even the Canadian dollar, how are they reacting against the US dollar. Okay, so moving on to gold prices. Gold prices was also in the consolidation mode ever since last Thursday, and last Wednesday it touched a high over here of 1,817 US dollars, and touched a low of about 1,794 on last Friday. Okay, so it's so this is an example of price movements for gold prices when it is in a consolidation or sideways range. Okay, so for the last couple of hours, the gold prices has been going up about just about $5. So again, you can see the price action here is pretty quiet. So we would need to have to wait until 2 to 4 p.m. or even 7 to 9 p.m. later today to understand more of the price movements. Moving on, quick one on silver. Silver has also been consolidating for the last 2 market days on Thursday and Friday, and currently it is still on a slightly bullish trend. Okay. Last commodity we'll be looking at will be oil prices. Oil prices was pushing back down on last Thursday after finding resistance for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and finally on last Thursday at about 9 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time, oil prices dropped from $40.88 all the way to a low of $39.39. Of course, that bearish move on last Thursday was carried forward through to last Friday, where oil prices dropped from $39.96 all the way until $38.75. So only towards in the evening session at about 6 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time, oil prices managed to find a very good support, form a tweezer candlestick chart patterns, and started to move back up from $38.89 all the way to a high of $40.84. Okay, so this was on the back of news from the International Energy Agency that demand for crude oil will increase as we move towards the tail end of this year and also towards the year 2021. Okay, so this was the data just announced. So again, last Friday, US West Texas Instrument and UK Brent crude rose more than 2% after the International Energy Agency increased its 2020 demand forecast for this year and also possibly for the year 2021. Okay. However, again, a lot of the movements of crude oil and also gold prices, and to a certain extent, even movements of the US dollar index, the strength or weakness of the US dollar will largely be dependent on currently the coronavirus issue, which is still largely not under control in many countries. So those developments will filter through the price and filter through and reflected on the prices. Okay, so yeah. For the US dollar at the moment, although the sentiment was bearish for the last 2 days, currently it is looking like it's trying to find some support at these levels, and it could bounce back up to test this dynamic trend line later today. Okay, so same goes for the UK pound. If the US dollar manages to bounce back up to test this dynamic trend line, we should see the UK currency, UK pound, testing this resistance and then may go back down. Okay, so this is a big may. It could either test this and come back down, or test this and break higher. So either way, during the afternoon or the evening sessions, that is where we will know where the market is going to go. Okay, so yeah, so that covers our US dollar index, our UK pound, our euro dollar. An addition will be the Canadian dollar due to last Friday's employment change data. Our gold prices, which are still largely bullish, okay, largely bullish and maintaining quite high levels. But I think it's about time that gold prices could have a retracement down. So I'll be watching more for a sell opportunity along the way. Okay. Silver prices, as mentioned just now, is mirroring the movements of gold prices, and of course, oil prices managed to stage a strong rebound over last Friday. However, this is a very strong resistance at $41. So it's been testing this $41 level for quite a number of days, and high chances it will still be consolidating within the $41 to the $38 range. Okay. So that about wraps up the technical analysis section. One final thing, as you can see, this is the S&P 500. S&P 500 is the index comprising 500 of the largest stocks listed on the US stock exchange. And of course, we do see the S&P 500 after consolidating for a number of days, managing to push back up. Okay, so yeah, last Friday was a very positive note for equities, and of course, as equities was rising, that is one of the main reasons why the US dollar was weakening. Okay, so yeah, so that begins our Monday for today, and hope you guys have a good start to the week, and I will see you again tomorrow. Happy trading.